everybody, and happy Monday to you. I hope you all have had a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Spent some time with family, and maybe you took care of some stuff at the house as the weather is starting to get nice. Whatever it may be, I hope you're rested and looking forward to a fantastic week ahead. Welcome back to the Pickleball Recovery Performance Podcast, brought to you live by Paddle Pro Balm. Today is episode 4. That's right, 4 we are in. And today we're going to be talking about driving into grip pressure, paddle control, and why soft hands in pickleball matter, and why soft hands maybe not matter. We're going to be talking about the grip positions, the strength inside those grip positions on your particular paddle, and how it can and cannot affect your play, your game. So let's dive in today. So what is grip? Grip is, obviously, with your hand gripping the handle of your paddle. You have short handles, elongated paddle handles. You have wrapped handles. You have little disc, rubber sticky silicone handles that go over your wrap. It can be a skinny handle, a fat handle. Whatever that case may be, it matters in the way that you play your pickleball game. So I want to start out by talking about the pressure. You know, when I started 3 years ago, I had no clue what I was doing. And I did not come from a tennis background. I played ping pong, but not professionally, obviously, in just a little bit. So I was kind of a newbie. And I felt like kind of scared that I had to hold my handle pretty tightly because I thought every time I was going to hit or drive or whatever it may be, that my paddle would fly out of my hand. So for the greater part of a year, that was basically what I did. And I had my thumb up on the bottom part of the handle while I was gripping tight. A couple things that I noticed looking back on this. Number one, I had zero control, nothing. I mean, I was hitting balls in the net left and right. I was hitting them out left and right. I was hitting them, 25 feet the opposite direction, and I couldn't figure out why. The other thing that I noticed in looking back is that after every 2-hour or 3-hour session I'd play, my wrist, fingers, and hands would just hurt. They were sore. And I was like, there's got to be a different way. So as you guys know, as you keep playing, you get better. People help you. You may reach out to a coach. You may, rent a ball machine, rent a court, and just kind of practice that, or even hit and dink against a wall. And so the pressure matters because once I started to learn and get better in my game, kind of about duper, right? The 2.5 to maybe a 2.9, 3.0. I realized there is a difference depending on the position you're standing, whether it be the kitchen or back of the line, with the pressure you're holding the handle. And I noticed that when I loosened up and just became comfortable, and if you will, became one with my paddle, and no longer hold that strong grip, I upped my control game significantly. It feels weird at first because it feels like you're going to drop it. It feels like when you do that power drive from the third shot drop, it's going to fly off and hit Barbara over in Wisconsin on the top right on the other side of your opponents. But the reality is that you come accustomed with it. It's not going to fly out of your hands. It's not like an MLB game hitting that ball and maybe it's an amateur and that bat flies out. It actually starts to engage your hand, reduces pain in the elbow and all through that arm. But more importantly, it gives you control. Now, those third stop drops that were going fast flying into the net or 25 feet towards Barbara in Wisconsin are now going rainbowed over that net perfectly, projecting it straight on to the other side where the game is in play. So pressure matters. Now, you may be wondering, well, okay, so do I still, or when do I still hold tightly? My opinion is this. if that is your way and you have different positions on the pickleball court on your side where you feel you got to hold it tight, or maybe you do drive better. Maybe you hit that rainbow ice right over that net better by holding a strong grip. Then go with it. I would just say that you start practicing a little bit a week with a looser grip on the same shots you would use harder grips. I think you're going to find more relief and better control because that's how the pros do it. You always see people start pickleball, and then all of a sudden, as each year goes by, they kind of slow down. And that's what I've noticed about the game of pickleball. I'm a fast-paced individual. I love sports. I'm kind of an athlete. I am in good shape. And so I love the fast pace of it. But as I kept hitting the nets and as I kept hitting Barbara in Wisconsin, I realized something has to change. So I'd take some deep breaths. I'd calm down on the court, and I began to loosen my grip, and I began to hit gently and actually focus with my eyes on the ball where that ball was going to go, where I was going to place it. Not just hitting it with a strong grip, thinking that it was going to go and make a point or get the ball back, because it's not. So that's basically a little bit about pressure that I wanted to say. And, in the game of pickleball, when you become a pro, it's actually called soft hands. It really means for dinks, resets, and drops. But I would try it a little bit on those hardcore drops as well, okay? Those long drives, those third shot drops. And kind of think of it as a scale to 1 to 10, right? So maybe grip a little tighter, maybe towards that 8, 7, or 9 if you're on, long drives. But definitely start to move your way down that scale on soft hand scale for the grip, more towards that 3, 2, and even 1 when you get really close to the net. You want a calm, gentle game. And I know that sounds opposite in a game that is a sport, but it's the reality. You've got most people on the other side is where we were when we started, right? They're fast-paced. You come across 4-5s here and there, that know this rule, but most of them are just engaged, wanting to win. They're breathing heavy or not breathing when they hit. And so you have immediate control, not only of that ball, but of the game, if you can slow down and get low and loosen that grip on that grip scale, okay? Let's talk about the micro relax technique for faster hands and better control. It's basically kind of before you walk up on that court, you want to just start to relax your arm. I usually do 3 deep breaths, right? Just calm myself. I visualize my shoes being implanted in that court, and I start to loosen my grip and think of micro relaxation. So you got a grip. It's comfortable in your hands. It's positioned well, but you're not out there gripping that thing like, climbing Mount Everest and it's the rope, right? So it's called micro relax. So just take a few breaths, relax that, and this is going to actually engage and upgrade a lot of things, but more importantly, faster hands and way better control. What's interesting, too, is when you calm down almost in a very zen, relaxed kind of state on the pickleball court, you will find that your eyes start to follow and your paddle start to follow that ball more. This is when you know you've leveled up because you want to trace that ball like a laser, right? Like a laser with your eyes, like a laser with your paddle. Because the whole point is where are you going to place that in this match to get to 11 to win the match, right? Where are you going to place it? It's placement. It's placement. And inside of placement, you got to think of technique. You got to think of tricking your opponent of where that ball is going to go based on how your paddle is positioned, how you're positioned. There's a lot of cool techniques where you can look like you're going to hit it up on the left line drive, right? But all of a sudden, at the very last hit, if you're calm and you've taken those breaths, just simply turn your wrist and do a fly swatter up and pivot to the right. And it's going to maximize your point, and it's going to maximize the return of the ball. So just always remember, take some breaths, loosen up that grip, and think of the scale 1 to 10. 10 being holding on for dear life, 1 being super zen and relaxed and at peace and ready to watch and keep your eye on that ball. Okay? Something else that this helps tremendously is dinking. You can just in your house, wherever you live, pick a wall. Make sure it's not an apartment with your neighbors. And just get low and loosen up your grip and put on some background music or some Netflix or whatever and just begin to dink against the wall. Try not to let that ball hit the floor. And when you feel that immediate intense energy that like you have to just, I got to go. Here comes the ball off the wall. That's when you want to practice on slowing, because the moment you start to pick up that energy, the faster and harder that ball is going to go. And then, boom, you maybe get 3 dinks in off the wall, and all of a sudden it hits the wall or the floor, and all of a sudden it goes behind you or hits your TV. This is what happens when your energy is up. You need to calm. You need to keep that ball at the same pace out, off the paddle, and the same speed in, right? Cause and effect. Cause and effect. Equal cause, equal effect. So just think about that when you're dinking away, okay? Now, I want to talk about maybe a feather dink drill to train and touch and feel, right? So this coincides with the wall approach, but you can also go to a court if you have any courts near you and just use their wall. Some of these places actually have the Dink Master board, which kind of shows you like real good shots when you're dinking, kind of bad placement, middle placement, where to get them in the chest placement, kind of throw them off guard. These kind of things. I think it's called the Dink Master. You can actually get one off Amazon for relatively pretty affordable. So I would just, focus on your grip. If you're struggling and winning matches, or you're finding that the scores in your matches, and you've been playing for maybe a year or a little less, and you're like 2-11, and maybe you win 1 out of 6 a week, right? Just go ahead and focus. Change your mindset on this grip strength scale and start to practice on your wall in your house and start to practice at courts near you. And don't worry about winning games. So one thing you can do is use your social play signups, right? Whether it's at a park or whatever. Go in with no expectation to win, okay? Get rid of the competitiveness. Go in and just tell yourself, I don't care what people think about me. Today is a day that I'm working on myself so that I can actually be a better challenge to these people in the coming weeks, right? And then go in there. It doesn't matter how you look or off or weird or odd, and start to practice against their hits, getting up to the kitchen as fast as you can, resetting that ball from the third stop drop to a kitchen placement, making them run up, and then softening your grip, okay? Get that 3, 2, or even 1 if you can on the grip scale. And don't forget to spread the legs wide, dip down, and stay low when you're at the kitchen, okay? Start to work on ball placement. Focus and channel your eye placement where you want that ball. And also, more importantly, on top of it, start to see that ball hit the paddle, right? Keeping your eye on the ball. Remember that old saying in sports? Start to do that. Start to focus on control. And you will be impressed with the rapid movement, the increase of control and ability that comes with you. So next time that you're going around or going out to the pickleball courts for the next, just call it 2 or 3 weeks, start to focus on grip strength and always remember the grip scale. That's it today for episode 4 on the Pickleball Recovery and Performance Podcast, brought to you live by Paddle Pro Balm. Don't forget that our organic, fast, rapid relieving pain relief balm is super affordable, TSA approved, goes in any purse, any bag. Keep it out of the sun, though. And it has no chemicals, and it will start to help and reduce your inflammation transdermally as you apply it. We've created this product for the pickleball community because, just like us, we are addicted. What can we do for recovery to get back on the court as fast as we can and keep our bodies in check, keep our bodies healthy, so we can continue to grow as an athlete in the pickleball world? We hope you have a wonderful day, an incredible week ahead. We will see you live for a special podcast on Friday coming out of a golden ticket event. Don't miss this. Share the feeds. Help us reach others. And always remember to love the one you're with and make it happen.